Hello, goddesses. How are you doing today? We are going to be talking about oracles and rituals to release the year. So it's a very timely topic. I don't know about you, but I am ready to let go of 2021. And I have 7 ideas, 7 suggestions of how you can use oracles and rituals to do this. The last 2 years, right? The last 2 years have been really, really hard for everyone. So I know that there can be that tendency to just be like, done. I want to be over, right? But the thing is that when I really felt into it, I realized before we just release something, we want to fully receive it first. Right? We want to fully receive what we learned, right? And to reflect on the experience, right? So when anything ends, like a relationship ends, a job ends, you're moving, like a chapter of your life, to not just rush through the ending and just be like, I'm done. To take some time. So I know that I said that this was all about the release, but in fact, this is about reflect, right? Through a process of reflection, which is what oracle and rituals are, a practice of inner reflection. So reflect, receive, release. Okay? So if we don't take the time to reflect and receive the blessings and the lessons that we've received, and in that, maybe this is a new thing, the blessings, the blessings and the lessons. Take time to reflect on the blessings of your year, right? To really receive that, and to look at where you've been really initiated and really challenged, while at the same time also how you've been illuminated with some deeper insights about yourself and about the nature of life. Yeah, honor what the shadows have taught us. Yes, Vanessa. And just, honoring just what we've been through, right? So, like I said, I'm going to share 7 ideas, and it's all of a process, not just to release, but to reflect, receive, and release. Okay? So first of all, using your oracles, your preferred oracles, right? Whether that's tarot or runes or some other kind of oracle deck. I love a 3-card spread or a 3-rune spread to reflect on the year. Okay? So, if you're newer to working with oracle, all I'll suggest is just give yourself a good amount of time. For some people, that's 5 minutes. Some of you might feel like you need longer, but to settle your energy, to really create that sacred space, again, in whatever way feels right to you, to just ground and center and open all of that energetic work before you pull, right? And the 3 cards or stones, sorry, I'll go back and forth, but if you're working with runes, I have a wonderful crystal rune set. So whatever you're working with, but I'll just say cards for simplicity. You pull the 3 cards. The first one is the overview, right? So it will give you some reflection on the overview of the year that you've just had, because that's the intention that you'll hold when you're doing this reading, as a reflection on the year. First one is overview. The second one is your challenge. What was your main challenge or initiation? What was the big blessing of your year, right? The blessing and the lesson combined. And then the third one is you now. You now and the action that you're taking to move forward, or the action that's required of you now to move forward. Okay? So that's the 3-card spread. That is a wonderful, a wonderful oracle to look back on your year and to receive the messages from the oracle. And then I also always recommend that you either journal on it, right? Journal through your own thoughts and feelings about what came up, or to talk to someone about it, so that there's a deeper level of integration, right, in the sharing, whether you're integrating yourself in your journal or you're sharing with a friend. Hello, sister. Great. So glad that so many of you are tuning in today. So that's the first one, is the three card spread to reflect on the year. Okay, second, right? I have 7 to share with you today, remember. So number 2 is using your pendulum. Now, there's other ways that you can do this if you don't have a pendulum, but those of us that love using our pendulums, we're always trying to find ways to use this, right? Ask your pendulum. Actually, have you ever asked your pendulum what it loves to be used for? My pendulum is primarily a divination pendulum, but some pendulums are more for energy clearing. So anyway, that's a bit of a side note, but any pendulum really can be used for energy clearing. And so this would be perfect to do after that oracle reading that I just shared, that once you've said it, and then it's like you just sit and you just clear the year. Clear the year. And you could do this also like in your home, to clear the energy in your home, to release the year. You could also have, your spouse or a friend or perhaps even a child. You could lie back and you could just clear each other's energy fields, right? Going over your body. Be a fun thing to do with your kids, actually, because it doesn't require them to have that steady hand. They think, well, this is fun. I get to swing this thing over mama. And then you could do the same. So using your pendulum to just clear the energy is a great tip. And like I said, there's certainly many ways that you can clear energy, but I just wanted to bring up using the pendulum, because a lot of these suggestions can be done together, right? Yes, it depends on which pendulum I'm using. They definitely have a preference. Yes, it's true. And so it's a really neat thing to actually tune into your pendulum and to ask your pendulum what it likes to be used for, or what it's really aligned for. Okay, number 3. You know that stuff that's been hanging around somewhere in your house, maybe in a closet, maybe in the spare room, that you've been wanting to get rid of? Maybe it's old clothes, maybe it's actually old recycling, whatever that stuff is that you've been meaning to get rid of, but you haven't yet. Do it. Throw it out, or donate it, or recycle it, whatever it is. Identify something that you just want. It's a very tangible way of removing things from your space and from your life and from your year that you do not want to take with you into 2022, right? So I'm sure even me saying that, you're thinking like, oh yeah, right. There's that bag of clothes that I've been meaning to drop off at the thrift store. Do it. Right? Or yeah, that pile of whatever it is. And maybe just one thing. I'm sure some of you think, oh yeah, I need to fully declutter the house. No, I'm not saying you need to fully declutter the house, unless you really want to. But, taking action to really remove something physical out of your space by recycling, donating, or throwing it out and approaching it as a ritual to release the year, right? This, that our intention infuses these ordinary everyday tasks with a deeper meaning when we approach it differently, right? All right, number 4. Number 4 is something that I've shared before in this group, and I love it. I first learned about this from Lisa Lister, the author of Witch, and I've worked with her in a couple different capacities, and she shared this with as a Conjure floor sweep. So any of you that really like really witchy things, you're going to love this, because it involves a broom as well. So witches, get out your baking soda, some salt, some crushed rosemary, some basil, And then you could add anything else to it that you want. If you're really into oils, lemon oil would be good for this. Maybe even a clary sage. Really trust your own intuition with this. So you prepare the baking soda, salt, rosemary, basil, and any oils, but you don't need to use oils. And you don't have to have rosemary and basil if you happen to not have one of those. Just you're creating this mixture, mainly of salt and baking soda, and you sprinkle it all over your floors. And again, you're in a ritual mind space when you're doing this. You're approaching it like a magic ritual, because it is. And then what a conjure floor sweep is that as you're sweeping, you are saying your prayers, right? You are whispering different things. You are in your magic. You got your broom. You sweep it all up and you sweep it out the back door. That's also part of the difference with this. Don't just sweep it up as you usually do in the dustpan and put it in the garbage, but actually, sweep it up. And well, you may still need to use a dustpan, but like it's a different energy and out the back door. So it's like out with the old, right? And then in with the new. So I love that conjure floor sweep. This is also a great thing to do if you move into a new home. It can be a great way to clear some energy if you move into a new space. And really you could do this anytime. But I thought I'd add that here as part of a ritual that we can do. Conjure floor sweep out the door. What if you don't have a back door? That's a great question, huh? Right. Well, I mean, we don't need to overthink these things, I suppose. So perhaps as you are in your one door, you are just energetically saying that kind of like out with the old, and then keeping the door open to let in some fresh air, and you're saying, and in with the new. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that because so many places have two different doors that you can work with. So thank you for asking that. Yeah, and pick up the rugs first. Yeah, this might work as a vacuuming thing, but I just do it mostly as, that conjure floor sweep. All right, witches, get out your brooms. Okay, moving on. Number 5. So the 5th suggestion that I have for you is the classic cord cutting. And again, this one would be very well suited to do with the oracle reading for the year, as you've reflected on the year, on the blessings, and you're integrating, and then cutting the cords, cutting the energetic attachments that you still have to this year. There's lots of different ways that people do this. And like I always say, trust your own intuition, and it's not going to be the same all the time. So a few different ways that I've done this is that with eyes closed, I tune in and I sense, or I try to see, feel or see, however visual you are, or more feeling sense, those cords of attachment, and seeing them like strings, and that are attaching you to different things, attaching you to different events from the year, people or things, right? Sitting with that, and like I said, there's a few different ways that you can do it. Some people like to just do a chop, like a chopping energy like this, and it's just like, and it's like, and you can do that actually for your whole auric field. It's not like we only have cords of attachment from our front body. You can do it there. And if you have an athame or any kind of sacred blade, or you potentially even, you could use a magic wand, you could do a crystal wand, this is, use all your tools as you wish, but your own hands are just as effective, right? You don't need any extra tools. So you can just do a chop like this, chopping away and just really feeling clear. Or some people like to make scissors with their fingers and actually cut those cords. And again, visualizing that you are no longer attached to them. Another method that I really like is instead of just cutting, it's an idea of like plucking a hair out at the root. Pluck. And there's something that I really like about that sometimes, where I just imagine I get my hand around it and pluck it out. So really, again, just do what feels good to you, trust your intuition, and that can be a great way to energetically release the year, right? And all the things that you do not want to take with you into the new year. All right? If you saw my email that went out earlier today, then you would have read about my first experience with a fire ritual. So of course I had to bring in the fire ritual. Having a solstice fire is, very much an ancient tradition, but with it being winter in the north part of the world, just having more fires, if you have a stove or a fireplace, is more common. So it doesn't have to be just on solstice. It could be really any time. In the next little while, that if you have a fire, I just want to make sure that everyone does this safely. I don't want anyone burning anything. But the idea of writing things down that you wish to release, writing down any disappointments, or, just writing down the things that you wish to release from the year and burning them. And just making sure that you do them in a fire safe way. It's beautiful, and for me, it's been a very powerful ritual, working with fire in that way, and so that's it's very simple. But again, approaching it as a ritual, and this is fun because you can do this ritual with other people very easily, as long as everyone has that is open to that intention, and you can write it down and you burn it, and perhaps you even share what you are releasing from the year, and throwing it into the fire and letting the fire purify. So fire ritual is number 6. Okay, and the final one, and I'm standing up for this. So my final and the 7th suggestion for you to release the year is to make like Taylor Swift and shake it off. Shake it off. Woo! Really, like, get, again, with some of these other suggestions, just dance it out, shake it out, like cut those cords, and then release it from your body. I love just a simple kind of undulating movement like this, a little bit of crump it out, whatever it is. Just put on some music. If you need it, you don't need any music. I'm shaking it off without any music right now. If you don't know this about me already, but I'm very much about embodied practices, right? Really embodied practices. And so this is it. Like, just shake it off. Shake it off. Yes. Make like Taylor Swift and shake it up. Shake it off, shake it out, right? And just make sure that you're not still holding on to something that you don't want to bring with you into the new year. So I hope you can see by now that a lot of these suggestions for the rituals or working with Oracle, like I keep on saying, can be paired together, or probably even more than 2 together. And I'm sure that you could even come up with your own, following your own intuition. And so I'd love to hear if I haven't said something or shared an idea that maybe you have done before, or you're having an intuitive hit about how you want to release the year, please share in the comments so that we can all learn from each other and be inspired by each other. So I'd love to hear from you which one of these or which couple of these are really inspiring you that you want to do. If any, let me know in the comments, and I'll do a recap right now. So the first suggestion is to do a 3-card oracle spread to reflect on the year and to really receive the blessings and the challenges and to integrate all of that. The first card is the overview of your year. The second one is what has been your main challenge, and the third one is you now, and what action you're taking moving forward. So that's that. First one is that oracle reading to reflect on the year. That was number 1. Number 2 is clearing energy with your pendulum. Woo. And all the different ways and places that you can do that using your pendulum. Number 3, throw out or recycle or donate something that you've been meaning to get rid of. Just get rid of it, get it out of your space, release it. Number 4 was the Conjure floor sweep, right? The combination of baking soda, salt, rosemary, and basil are what's recommended. They're not necessary. Essential oils, sweep it up and out the back door, if you have a back door. So get out your brooms, witches, and clear that, release the year. Number 5 was the cord cutting, right? Really working on the energetic level, the etheric plane, or you are consciously and very intentionally releasing your attachments and cutting those cords. Number 6 is a fire ritual, writing things down, burning it, releasing it into those purifying flames. And then number 7, shake it off, woo, woo, just really like, woo, shimmy it out, shake it out. And, make sure that you are not taking anything with you into the new year that you do not want to bring with you, right? That's the idea there. So you can have fun with all of these. And, yeah, exactly. It is. It's a clearing of your physical body. So I hope you've enjoyed these 7 suggestions for your mind, body, soul, and home to clear the energy and to release the year.